wait. Should I do a Natlan character tier list just for characterization? Let's do a Natlan characterization tier list. So, Kachina, my goat. And I also think that it's really important to include a How. But who's gonna be our stand-in for a How? Me. Okay, I'll use you. Sure. Yeah, I guess. Wait, we are missing too many. Wait. Okay. Natlan characters tier list Genshin. Maybe if I look it up like this, it'll include the non-playable ones. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Huge. So this list has added Ion-san, Capitano, and a How. So obviously, Kachina, my goat. Kachina's the best one for sure, but I don't think she's so interesting that I would put her in like an SS tier. Actually, since we're including a How, maybe Kachina isn't my favorite character. If we're including a How might be, and he might be worthy of his own tier. Okay, who is the worst character in terms of characterization? Kanich, probably? I actively dislike Kanich. But I guess that's kind of the point. Okay. Maybe not. I think he'll go in C. He's not that bad. Like, Kanich is unlikable, but in a way that, like, is intended, right? But, like, that doesn't make him likable. He's still unlikable. But it's not as bad if it's intended, right? Mualani is an unlikable character that is intended to be likable. So I think Mualani is going to be the worst characterization-wise for me. Okay, and if you've watched me play the quest, you'll understand why. Mualani is like, she's this. If Mualani was like a real person, right? She'd be the sort of person who's like unintentionally really fucking mean. Like the kind of person who like throws massive shade at you without even realizing it. Because she's just kind of clueless. Okay? And like there were a few instances, I don't remember the exact situations, but I remember that it happened. There were a few instances in the quest where she said something and I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Especially with Kachina. Like, she was just so incredibly insensitive. But the quest didn't present it as such. Like, it wasn't presented as her saying something incredibly insensitive. Because no one reacted negatively to it. And I was just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? Does no one here realize that what she said was incredibly mean? Very toxic positivity. Yeah, it's like, yeah. But yeah, give an example. But like, that's what I'm saying. I can't fucking recall the exact scenarios off the top of my head. I didn't fucking memorize the whole Archon Quest dialogue. But I can tell you when it happened. Like, when she yaps to Kachina after the pilgrimage, or before the pilgrimage. In the pilgrimage quest. A lot of the shit she says to Kachina is like so insensitive. It's not like outright rude, but it is incredibly insensitive. She asks if Kachina's team ditched her again. Yeah, like shit like that. And it's like, dude, just shut the fuck up. Like, shut up, dude. What the fuck? Next. Okay. What do I think about Capitano? Okay, honestly, I wish I could go back to like 2 days ago when I didn't feel negatively towards him. But now, like, fuck, man, like, what a shitty fucking character arc, man. God. The resolution was so ass indeed. Why? Basically, it just, I don't know, it wasn't it, man. Like, ugh. He showed a big middle finger to Celestia, but like, he didn't. Like, that's kind of the problem. Okay? Like, that's my problem. Like, it felt like another very forced Celestia plot device. Yeah. Like, Malika made a deal that required her death, and then Capitano was like, well, as it turns out, my life is worth more than hers, so you should take me. Plus, haha, fuck you if you do, that conflicts with immortality, caught. But, like, you gave Renova something that was more useful. Like, you gave Renova a death that was much more valuable than Malika. You forced Renova's hand by giving them too good of a deal to pass off. To pass up. Like, oh no. You sure got him. Sure fucking got him. It was Capitano's goal. Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. Right? I would not have a problem with the ending of his character arc whatsoever if he didn't explicitly say that one of his motivations for doing this was to take revenge on the gods or whatever. That's not what happened. Renova definitely didn't want that deal. Then why did Renova accept it? Could have just said, no, your life isn't worth as much. He couldn't? Why? Because his life was worth that much? Then that's effectively the same thing as saying it was a good deal for Renova. Why could she not just say, nah, I'm taking Malika? Yeah, like, we're told, like, yeah, no, Renova didn't have a choice, but, like, why? It's dumb, dude. Not up to her. Then what the fuck is Renova's purpose, then? Doesn't have any fucking power to do anything about their about her deals whatsoever? Like, witness? Then, if the only purpose that Renova has is being a witness, why would it piss Renova off if Capitano is the one who takes Malika's place? Like, he used the rules against her? Yeah! And in doing so, he achieved the rest that he so desperately wanted. And that's not my problem. My problem is that he's not fucking taking revenge on anyone. Why is bro so confidently saying, haha, get fucked, bozo? If it's something that doesn't really have an impact on Renova whatsoever. I'm not actually asking you to explain to me. I understand what happened. I think it was bad writing. That's why I'm angry. Like, I understand the, like, canon justification for it. I just think it's awful canon justification. I think it's really poorly written and feels like a fucking asshole completely out of nowhere. And I think it completely ruined Capitano for me. That being said, Capitano's still kind of cool, so he probably goes in, like, A. Maybe B. I'm not sure. I'll put him in B tentatively, but if A tier ends up pretty empty, I might knock him up a little. That was not... I'm not gonna knock up Capitano, chat. That's not what I meant to say. Okay? I did not... Bump him up is what I wanted to say. I might bump him up. Okay? That's... Fuck. You know what I... He's already had enough people inside him, okay? Like, I don't want to... Anyways, okay, next. Seedlali, I think, is A. Unironically, Seedlali is being hard carried by the fact that she's a manhwa enjoyer. True. Anyways, Chaska. Chaska's kind of boring, honestly. Like, and spoilers for Natlan Archon Quest Act 4. Here's your warning. Koichi's probably the first, like, NPC that died that I actually kind of cared about. But a very significant portion of why I cared about Koichi's death is because Koichi was juxtaposed with Chaska, and Chaska is such a mid-fucking character that it made Koichi feel, like, actually interesting. Navia plus Silver and Medusa situation? Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But, like, also, Koichi's dynamic with Chaska is part of Chaska's characterization. So, like, I'll put her in B tier. I'll put her above Kenichi, but below Capitano for sure. Ion-san. We don't know much about Ion-san. We know she's a fucking musclehead. I feel like she hasn't been all that characterized Like, she's kind of just, yeah, she's a gym bro. I'll put her above Kanichi. But yeah, she's kind of a nothing burger right now. Auron. Okay, so like, there's a few things we need to get out of the way for Auron, right? Auron is really cringe. Like, deeply, deeply cringe. Okay? Like, that is something that is just objectively true. Okay? He's also really lame. But these things are intentional, right? Like, that's how he was designed, and, like, intentionally so. The thing is, like I said earlier, just because something is designed to elicit a specific negative emotion, it doesn't necessarily mean that if they managed to elicit that emotion, it was well designed, right? Because sometimes the usage of that character in the story is bad in a way that, like, why are you trying to make me feel that emotion right now? It's kind of, like, it doesn't work. In Auron's case, Auron feels like a filler character. Like, it just really feels like Auron is an unimpactful, irrelevant character. His impact on the story is pretty much all filler. But, like, it's not, but, like, it is, you know? I'm gonna put him in C tier. Above Kanichi, but yeah. Next! Shilonen. Shilonen is kind of boring. My biggest issue with Shilonen isn't with her characterization. My biggest issue with Shilonen is the discrepancy between her visual design and her characterization. Shilonen should be buff. There's no fucking reason for her not to be buff. How the fuck dare you make a blacksmith with noodle arms? You should be ashamed of yourself. Okay? Fuck you, Hoyoverse. But, like, that's not that bad, right? Like, it's cringe, but it's not the characterization's fault, right? It's like, to me, that's an issue of corporate oversight on visual design more than anything to do with the characterization. She doesn't need to be buff when you have the power of a vision, but she does. You could make the argument that if she had an animal vision, she could be using the wind to push her muscles up and down or something. But, like, she's a blacksmith, and we are literally shown in some of her teasers that her blacksmithing is done by smashing hammers down, not by using her vision to make rocks smash down. And, like, she still has noodle arms. It's dumb, it's stupid. But then on top of that, right, even if you can find a reasonable canon justification for it, who cares? It doesn't change the fact that she does not look anything close to a blacksmith. Nothing in her design actually says blacksmith. But when it comes to, like, only characterization, I think she's kind of whatever. Her characterization is helped by the quality of her voice acting. Actually, like, I feel like there is not a lot of characters in Genshin where the voice acting adds personality to the characters. Farina. With Farina, it does, yeah. That's fair. I don't like it because the way that that it adds personality is by adding to an already fucking unlikable personality. But you're right. You're right. It does contribute to it. Oh yeah, like Risley, Fischl, Hu Tao, no. I don't think Hu Tao. Right? I feel like it's pretty much only these four, actually. Shilonen, Farina, Risley, Fischl. Where, like, I actively feel like the voice acting has personality. Ito? Okay, I don't know how much of a hot take this is, but it's not the acting for Ito that adds personality. It's the dialogue. Now, that dialogue is ad-libbed by the VA, and so it's still the voice actor's impact on it, right? But it's not the acting itself. I think that if you gave the exact same voice lines to another actor, it wouldn't be too hard to get the same vibe. Does that make sense? Anyways, all of this to say, Shilonen's voice acting actually makes her feel like a chill guy. Like, she's just a chill guy. Like, straight up, Shilonen is just a chill guy. Like, you listen to her voice, and she sounds like just a chill guy. And I feel like it fits so well with the dialogue and the personality and like the characterization. Boring ass lazy girl trope, but it's not that she's lazy. She's just chill. She's lazy though, is she? Yes, but not when her skills are needed. So, in other words, she does not laze around when she's required to do. How the fuck is that lazy? Complaining about the amount of work that you have to do while you're working doesn't make you lazy. Not doing your work, sure. But, like, does she ever, like, not do her work? She says she wants to laze around. I feel like I'm talking to people who have, like, an alien's level of understanding of human emotions and personality. Glort, we've been caught. All in all, I think she's in B. And I think I'm gonna put Capitano up in A. Looking at what the rest of the tier list looks like. And finally, Mawika. Mawika is... Okay. I think people hate on Mawika too much because they don't like her visual design. And, like, they decided they wouldn't like her before she even opened her mouth. You know? That being said, there are still reasons to dislike her. My toaster has more personality than her. True, but Mary Sue is cringe. But, okay. Okay. A female character being powerful is not the definition of a Mary Sue. Please explain to me, without relying on, like, incredibly blatant sexism, how Mawika is a Mary Sue. I don't know what a Mary Sue is. A Mary Sue is effectively... It's a character that's, like, too perfect in a way that feels like it isn't earned, right? Like, it's not just a character that's very competent at something. That's a part of it. But it's also important that the story doesn't justify that talent in a convincing way. The flawless character, she's perfect at everything and never struggles. Yes, the person who couldn't fucking save her family and who sacrificed her whole fucking life with them to have a chance to win something is indeed a character who never lost anything. Sure, definitely. Like, be for real, man. She just doesn't have a quirk. Yeah, that's fair. Like, she feels a bit more boring because she doesn't have a, like, quirky trait, right? Yeah, like you said, with, like, Venti being a drunkard, Farina being annoying, Jonli being a fucking idiot, Raiden being evil, kinda. Nahida being a newborn, yeah, pretty much. Nahida is naive? I don't know about that. More like inexperienced? Yeah, like, there's kind of a difference between those two, yeah. The lack of character flaw makes her a shallow character. She's poorly written and under-characterized. I mean, that's not necessarily wrong, but, like, she doesn't have a compelling character flaw, but she's also very far from a Mary Sue, you know? Like, she has a character flaw in that, like, she has a sort of character flaw that you'd put as a flaw in a fucking resume you're giving to like when you're trying to get hired. Like, I'm just too empathetic and self-sacrificing. Like, but like it is actually a flaw, right? But yeah, I'm too hardworking. Yeah, I'm an empath. She does have a character flaw, but the plot did a disservice. I agree with that. The initial conflict between Capitano and Mawika ended up being such a fucking disappointment. They could have explored her. What do you say it? Hard-headedness. There's a word for that. Like her. What's the word for that, chat? Her stubbornness. Yeah. I had the French word têtu. They could have explored her stubbornness in her refusal to, like, go along with Capitano's plan, but instead they just decided to make it so that Capitano's plan was just not gonna work. Like, I wish there was an actual proper ideological disagreement between Capitano and Mauika, but they ended up just being a logistical one, where like Capitano thought the plan was gonna be fine, but and that the other plan was too risky, but as it turns out, it wasn't, right? And I think that was a massive cop out, and it definitely missed out on the opportunity to explore Mauika's flaws. But yeah, I also think that her there's another of her flaws that I think the story could have explored a lot more but didn't, but I forgot what it was. Right. I wish that the story focused more on the self-sacrificing flaw. Like, the conflict that arose from that flaw ended up just being solved by Capitano Celestia plot hole fixing everything. Like, did Mauika actually change her mind? No. A better solution just showed up, right? Well, I thought that was kind of... Capitano ex machina, true. Deus ex machitano. Anyways, with all of that being said, there was never a moment with Mauika where I was like, this character is actively making the story worse. She was very, very generic, but in a pretty inoffensive way. So I'm going to put her in B tier. Yeah, so this is my Natlan character tier list in terms of characterization. Why is Kachina so high? Because Kachina's my goat. Can you add Paimon? There's no need to add Paimon to a list like that. Everyone knows where she'd go. Can you rank Paimon's evolution over the nations? I'd say that in Mondstadt she was C tier, and after Mondstadt she's been like F tier ever since. Like, 1.0 Paimon really wasn't that bad. Remember when Paimon was making fun of Sumeru culture? I mean, okay, unironically though, I don't think Paimon making fun of Sumeru culture is something that makes her characterization worse. If anything, it makes her characterization better. Paimon is an unlikable, worthless fucking loser, and her doing shitty things is very in character for her. I take a look at my enormous penis, and my troubles start melting away. I take a look at my enormous penis, and the happy times are coming to stay. I gotta sing and I dance when I glance in my pants, and the feeling's like a sunshiny day. I take a look at my enormous penis, and everything is going my way.